good morning, and thank you for listening. The more things change, the more they stay the same. In our country, we've got inflation. As I keep saying and hounding, it's not because of the Ukraine war. It's not because of supply chains. We gave corporations a tremendous tax break. On top of the tax break, they run as if they are kleptocrats. They set pricing that I never dreamed of setting. They're not making 25% profit, 40% profit. No, in some instances, they're making almost 50 to 100% profit. And this is global. Inflation is around the world. It's our food prices, our energy prices. And sure, you can thank Putin for increasing the price of oil a little, but that was already increased to the American people and the Europeans before Putin's war, and also before insecurity, food insecurity. All happened before, folks. We've got climate change we're not addressing, which is going to reduce the arable land in all of our countries. And we've got a war, and we've got greedy corporations. Sure, we could fix it like FDR did. During World War II, corporations were equally greedy, and FDR put in price controls. Well, a lot of people don't like tampering with the markets that way. But what about our lives? Why should all the food pantries be doubling and tripling in the number of folks they're feeding when we can reduce pricing? And while we're at it, I don't think Biden has put in any federal judges who are experts on antitrust. Don't look just to the tech giants for control. Look at what's really causing America's problems: food, clothing, energy. How dare anyone think that they may shut off energy and power for us in the summer or the winter when we need it the most? Just because they've never upgraded any of their grids. They haven't decentralized. They can't take solar in because they never have an interchange that will accept the solar battery inertias. It's different than the electric grid we've established. The rest of us are growing, the rest of us are developing, and corporate America is totally stagnant. It hasn't done anything in probably 20, 30 years, except act as a bank, collecting their monies on products that they know how to produce routinely. Thank God for science. Science never sleeps. Science is doing a 3D ear with a person's own stem cells, and it's working. We're looking to create kidneys, lungs, livers out of a person's stem cells. That time can't come soon enough because I'd like to see the pharmaceutical companies absolutely retrench as we work around drugs and into using new technologies for growth and our own survival. I saw a neat cartoon in The Economist, and maybe you can see it too, right? Where this woman is saying, I don't want to just survive, I want to live. And I think that's what we all want to do. We want to live, and we want to be able to get out from under the corporate thumb. Antitrust is where it is. One state, Connecticut, is now putting in a misinformation sheriff. Thank God. And they're paying good bucks, $150,000 a year, to check content coming into their state and getting rid of whatever would be inciting hatred and violence. I don't see mourning and being miserable anymore over mass shootings or homicides of any sort because somebody is dissatisfied with the operation he got, kills the doctor and 2 or 3 others, or the suicides when we can prevent it. On the community level, community activists are looking at social media and coordinating with social workers and counselors to take away the weapons and get the kids who are about to incite violence into therapy before the mass shootings happen. If they can do it on the community level, why can't we do it on the state level and the FBI level? Why can't we be looking at all of those social media sites that are so disturbing, and also at Fox News that is encouraging a lot of the hatred, and start finding out the viewership? Are they disturbed? And do we need the red flag laws? Because it looks like you bet we do. And Jim Jordan, I don't know where he gets his information from, but he's certainly not scientific. He said, oh, we have to be studying why this is happening. Well, we already know. Scientifically, it's been proven. You have more gun purchases, you have more gun violence. It's a direct correlation. Why should we be number 1 in the world in gun violence? I think we surpass the wars in Yemen for how many people we actually kill. This is not a distinction I'd be proud of. I'd like to be on the happiness chart and say, my country is number 1 in happiness because we provide for our people, we care about their lives, we want them to be safe and educated, we want good health care, we want good education, we want education that produces jobs afterwards. We don't want early retirement in our 50s because that's prime production years. We want so much, and if we want it, by golly, we can get it with the right government. On the state level, those guys who have all the power in the Republican parties and in the governorships, they work 60 to 120 days max. Can you imagine? And they're getting all that money to control the very survival of so many millions? And you're voting for them? What does that say about the people in their states who are constantly voting for repression when you can have a better way of life? I don't understand it. Not even a little. And as far as Putin is concerned, just like with all the other wars that we've had, or tragedies on our shores, or 9/11, my advice to government is read the mystery writers, please. They know what's going to happen before it happens. I used to read Vince Flynn a lot, and then my son reminded me of how great it's been to be reacquainted with Vince Flynn. So I was walking locally and I picked up this book, Red War, 2018. It discusses an unhinged Putin-like figure who's got a brain tumor, nothing to lose, hires some kind of general who's like the butcher of Belgrade or whatever, and there he goes to wage war on Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. And the false flag is that they're going after Ukraine. Sound familiar? A guy who has nothing to lose controlling the lives of the entire globe. Saudi Arabia is going to produce oil because they know the sanctions are working. Interestingly enough, a lot of Russian weaponry has parts coming from the US and the EU. Well, I don't think they're going to see replacements. So once they've captured a town, you better believe they've got to be entrenched because they can't replace parts anymore. And what are they capturing? They're capturing children. They're capturing nobody with their devastation. What are they nationalizing? 6 to 7 million Ukrainians have left. Who is there to nationalize? And meanwhile, the African nations are going to Putin and asking him to please somehow release the grain. 20 million tons of grains are in Ukraine, and they can't get out. Surely someone from UPS can go help the European Union to find a way out of there without going through the Baltic mines. We don't know, but maybe there's a way out. We can't let the world go hungry because one man wants to secure his legacy before he dies. No, sirree. This is a topsy-turvy world, but there are also bright things happening in science. Methane gas is being trapped, and it produces graphene and hydrogen. Hydrogen that can power our world. So we can go to farms, we can go to oil wells, and anything that's not capped we can trap, and we can produce energy from it. And graphene can make our roads and our building materials and so much more. We have to figure out whether or not it's toxic to us, if it goes into our food or our water supply, but certainly the byproduct of methane is hydrogen. It's a win-win for society. A lot of the cities in our country and around the world are replacing the asphalt with green spaces. Green spaces for kids are an absolute plus. Running in the grass, playing ball in the grass, certainly beats skinning your knees on the asphalt. And it's a hell of a lot cooler and better for the community. In other countries where they've got tons of plastic waste, like in Mumbai in the slums, they're taking all those plastic bags and making them into backpacks. Backpacks that they can sell to the EU and to Africa. In other countries with plastic waste, they too are making bricks from it and other materials that can be utilized in society. So innovation, thank goodness, in spite of the dinosaur corporations that we're all stuck with, innovation is proceeding. Maybe slow, and hopefully it'll pick up, and we'll stop the cultural wars, and we'll actually get on with not just surviving, because who wants to just survive, but with living the good life. That's certainly what I want for my kids and my grandkids, and I'd like to be around to see it. So everyone, have a good day. Vote like your life depends upon it, because guess what it does? If you vote for those Republicans who only see money and power and don't see us, the people, don't vote for them. If there's a Democrat who's similar, don't vote for him either. I'm saying we need a third party, and I think, by golly, we do. I will give my vote to a decent Democrat. I would give my vote to a decent Republican, but not ones who are for banning books, keeping assault rifles on the streets, encouraging hatred and violence, going against a woman's right to choose, which is like going against religious liberties, and doing so much else that is repressive. Please vote in droves in 2022 as if your life depended on it. Don't put these guys back into power. They're not working, and they're barely working on your behalf. They're just raking in the money. Because as Ted Cruz said, not only does he want to be paid by his influencers as he's campaigning, but after he wins and the campaign is over, he's now got the law on his side to have those same influencers make sure he's no longer in debt. It's a win-win for him and a lose-lose for society. And too many are like that. The corporate largesse has to stop. And there are ways to do it. Let's see what happens. Thank you for listening, and have a blessed day. Bye now, and take care.